Defensive Rookie of the Year. Man, there are so many good defensive rookies, but I have to go Aiden Hutchinson just for the fact that he was on the Detroit Lions and then he did something that is a pretty tough accomplishment where he had over 5 sacks and 3 interceptions as a D lineman. I thought on a struggling Detroit Lions defense, he was the shining light. He was the player that would make a play that could make a difference, get a strip sack, pick off Aaron Rodgers in the red zone, get some interceptions as a D lineman. Pretty amazing feat. And then he was the number 2 pick from Michigan to Detroit. Everything said he could have folded, and then he came out. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna be baby JJ Watt, and that's exactly who he was for the Lions.
Yeah, that's a fine take.
A fine take.
But ask me this: did Aiden Hutchinson walk into the league and say, I am the best edge rusher in the league"? Is he the best edge rusher in the league?
No, but
He's not.
yeah, there's a lot of good edge rushers though.
There's a lot of great edge rushers. There's also a lot of great corners, but are they as good as Sauce Gardner? Absolutely not.
Yes.
Sauce Gardner walked into the league and he immediately became the best corner in the league.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers.
The best.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? It means that Sauce Gardner is the best corner in the league. And he did that his rookie year. And he did it as, yes, he was the 4th overall pick. We expected this from him. But did we expect him to be better than Jalen Ramsey? No. So it's like he immediately stepped in and became the best corner in the league. If he's not the best corner, he's like top 3 already.
Right, I agree.
And I think Tariq Woolen, he deserves a shout out. He was a 5th round pick. I think that deserves some validity. But he wasn't as good as Sauce, and Sauce is the same position. I think Sauce deserves Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but that would be like with Aiden Hutchinson. He came in the league with Nick Bosa and TJ Watt, and a lot of dominant players at his position. It'd be like if Sauce Gardner came in the league with Darrelle Revis and Richard Sherman in their prime still playing. So it's like you look at someone how dominant Nick Bosa is. I feel like the cornerback position, if you have a dominant corner, you can still run your offense around them. See, someone like Aiden Hutchinson, someone who can make a play on every snap. I don't necessarily think that Sauce Gardner is going to be able to make a play on every snap. He can affect 25% of them, but Aiden Hutchinson affects every play with his presence on the defensive line, especially with the run and getting interceptions. How many interceptions did Sauce Gardner have this year?
Yes, but at the same time,
did he have more than Aiden Hutchinson?
I believe he did.
Okay.
But you're talking about how great it is when, how good is Josh Allen without, Stephon Diggs? How good is Kirk Cousins without Justin Jefferson? How good is somebody when their best corner takes away their best wide receiver? That's a question we got to ask.
Yeah, the Vikings won.
That was just one example.
Yeah, that was just one example.
Well, actually, do you remember Week 18 when they shut down Justin Jefferson and the Vikings rolled the Vikings?
What?
Remember, like Week 17?
The Vikings rolled the Vikings?
No, the Packers rolled the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shut down Justin Jefferson.
Jair Alexander did.
Yeah, one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, Sauce Gardner, he's right up there.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner's up there. I'm not disagreeing with you. Definitely a top 3 corner, but
I like the shout out with Hutchinson, though, for sure.
Aiden
Hutchinson, if I were to predict where Aiden Hutchinson will go, he will play with the Lions. The Lions will sign Nick Bosa, and then they will win 4 straight Super Bowls. And then they'll draft Bryce Young, and Bryce Young will turn into a 99 overall. And then they'll trade for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson will progress into a 93 overall. And then they'll also sign Ed Oliver, and they'll also draft a really good tight end. And that tight end will become a 99 overall as well.
Who's the tight end?
Alex Lawrence.
Alex Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have a beard?
Yes, and he's 7 feet tall, and he's 300 pounds. Anyways, I'm probably thinking of a different world. Maybe my Madden world.
I think you're thinking of a video game world there, bud.
Hey, you know what they say? Art imitates life.
Yeah, life imitates art. This brings us to our awards.
Wait, we got more awards. We forgot about Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, he didn't have the best numbers. But I feel like he was one of the best players at his position. He had a terrible offensive line, no help at quarterback. He had an interim head coach basically for the year. I mean, if your offensive rookie of the year isn't Damian Pierce. Like, I don't know
Oh,
who else it could be because Damian
didn't think
Pierce,
of that.
Texans, terrible offensive line. Brandon Cooks clearly does not want to be there. Lovey Smith, I mean, who thought Lovey Smith was going to last more than a year? And then
Not me.
Damian Pierce was someone who on Thursday Night Football dominates the first half versus the Philadelphia Eagles, keeps them in the game, and then, oh yeah, the Houston Texans can't do anything besides Damian Pierce, and the Eagles figured that out. So it's like Damian Pierce is a really good piece, and he's like, hey, I can be a great running back if you get a quarterback, a left tackle, a right tackle, a left guard, a center,
A nice
and
tight
a
end.
right guard, and then you get a nice tight end, a nice wide receiver, another wide receiver, and probably another tight end and another wide receiver, and everyone on defense. And
Yeah.
then I can be a great player on a really good team with D'Amico Ryans. And I
Yeah.
thought that Damian Pierce showed he was going to be one of the best dynasty running backs. A lot of people got him late. Some people even traded him for, I don't know, Jared Goff.
That's true. That's somebody in my league.
Yeah,
Not me
so
though.
I feel
I'm
like
not that
Damian
dumb.
Pierce, offensive rookie of the year. Salute to you.
Yes, he was one of the best offensive rookie running backs for sure.
All right.
One of them for sure. It's definitely top 2 or 3. But there's another guy that from week 7 on, had the season have been the whole way, would have rushed for 1,700 yards, would have had 13 touchdowns, getting involved in the passing game as well. And I'm of course talking about Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, talking about a Seahawks team that, like, yeah, we had the offensive comeback player of the year, but we also had a running game that was stout. Everyone's talking about, like, oh, how are they going to run the ball with Travis Homer? I'll tell you why, because they're not going to give Travis Homer the ball. Oh, we're not going to. They only have DJ Dallas. How are they going to survive? And they got this rookie named Kenneth Walker, who they drafted in the 2nd round. Kenneth Walker immediately became an absolute freak. Immediately. And he's
Yeah.
a part of the passing game, he's part of the run game, and he had some great games. You look at him from week 7 on, and he's lethal, getting 100-yard game after 100-yard game, just dominating, and also leading that Seahawks team to a playoff berth. And then
Leading them.
part of him, part of it, he helped. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Gino maybe is probably the bigger leader there, but he also helped.
Yeah, how about DK too?
DK's pretty good. I like DK.
Yeah.
But I think that run game, which they expected to be bad behind an offensive line that they expected to be bad, dominated.
Yeah, but the offensive line was also better than they thought it would be because they hit on their draft picks on the offensive line.
Charles Cross.
Yeah, and it turns out when your quarterback doesn't want to hold it forever to find one play that he really wants to do, and he only wants to do the play that he wants, not the actual right play and smart play to make, that your offensive line can actually block.
That sounds like a slight on Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson. Definitely a slight on him, but I feel like Mark Schlereth had pointed out how Russell Wilson was the problem with Seattle's offensive line, not the actual offensive line. And then they drafted a good rookie. Geno Smith played well. DK Metcalf, but like Houston had nothing.
That's true.
And then Pete Carroll was at least there. And then
Yeah.
this year, a lot of people gain respect for him as a head coach, even more so than the Legion of Boom era where he's leading them to a Super Bowl. It's like, oh, he still can rebuild a team. So
Pete Carroll.
overall, Pete Carroll did a great job. Love the Kenneth Walker pick. And yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Kenneth Walker. He had a great season.
Now let's